black pastel, super orange, black pastel cypress without the yellow belly. You see the difference between that one and this one?
Mm-hmm. Look at, come here, I want to see it. Look at that.
She's like, let me go over.
So that's without the yellow belly.
That's without the yellow belly.
She was.
Yep. Pretty, isn't it? Could you imagine taking care of all these snakes?
By myself?
By yourself?
Yes.
Yes?
It will be a little bit some harder, but a little bit easier. Because all you have to do is put them somewhere in the new bin, and then you just need to watch them, clean their poop, and then just grab them and put them back in. So simple.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Sound check. Y'all, this is an eventful morning. I'm actually about to take the grandkids on a little trip. So they're up. So you know how that is. So they're probably going to be back and forth. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? But they understand that we still got to make the 2 Ps on the podcast happen. Hope everyone is starting off with a really good morning. Hope your weekend was great. Just want to remind everybody, do not forget to support US Ark Florida. Right there, you see the Cash App to US Ark Florida if you would like to donate. And if not, just become a member. US Ark Florida does not require you to make a financial commitment to become a member. They just ask that you, the person, commit, which is awesome. So if you haven't, please at least go over to become a member. It's been great to hear the feedback of how many members have come. Oh my goodness, hold on 1 second, y'all. These are the temps in the house always adjust at that time and those alarms will go off. Let's cancel that. All right. So, yeah. So what we're going to do is make sure that you go over there and just become a member. That's all you have to do. So it's great to hear that the numbers are definitely increasing with recent events, but we want to stay solid. Let's not forget yesterday. Let's keep the noise going because that's the only way we're going to be productive. So we're starting today. Our topic, as you can see, is supplemental vitamins for your animals and supplemental UVB. I want to talk a little bit about Da Vinci boa, specifically for those of you who have larger constrictors. I know that Da Vinci boa is spoken about a lot when it comes to animals coming off of feed. I don't have that experience of animals coming off of feed, mainly because of what I keep. Now, I've experienced it when I purchased a ball python who was a male, who was a breeding male, and I purchased him right after, like a few months after he had just been cycling through some females. And when the time that I purchased him, he hadn't eaten for 8 months. And I said to the breeder, I can get any animal to eat, no worries. So I had purchased the Da Vinci boa, and when it got to like 10 months that he didn't eat, I said, I'm going to give it a try. So I gave him, this was last summer, I gave him 2 cycles. And I think right after the 3rd cycle, he started to eat again and he never stopped. Good morning, Keisha. Good morning, Ray. Good morning, Maki. Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Stan. Darlene. There was so many people that's in the chat. And some of you, a lot of you who was here earlier, so I did say good morning in the chat to you guys, so I appreciate it. So yeah, but what I want to talk about is I recently used Da Vinci boa in another way. So I've shared before my golden child cow reticulated python. Sometime I think it was 2021. When you have retics, a lot of times if they have an aggression towards their food they feed, or if they're attempting to like, you know, at night you'll see them actually roaming and they want to get out and you don't get them out. Like they can break a tooth on their food. They can break a tooth just being more defensive with their food and things like that. That's something that's common with a reticulated python. However, for me, it's only the golden child cow it ever happens to. So I shared the story before. What I had to do was, oh, happy anniversary, Ray. I'm assuming it's wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary. So what I had to do before was literally, I ended up having to remove the tooth that the retic broke, treating it with some peroxide. It's actually it's peroxide that we use. It's a blue bottle with the red top, but you can dilute it for your snakes. It's really good to help with them if they ever have any gum or tooth injury, and it helps them soothe the pain like it does for us. She did it again this time, and it took her about a month before she even attempted to show progress. So I said, let me just try the Da Vinci boa, because I saw somebody else use Da Vinci boa for a reptile who had an injury. So I said, let me just try the Da Vinci boa. I took 2 guinea pigs. I injected 1 guinea pig with a full vial of Da Vinci boa and a second with a full vial. Now, if you are giving Da Vinci boas to ball pythons, you would never be using a full vial, pretty much. It's always going to be smaller doses, but of course, I'm giving it to a reticulated python. We gave it to her. She ate the 2 guinea pigs. Whenever a reticulated python, for example, or larger constrictors eat, it takes them longer to digest the food than it does smaller constrictors. So it's a perfect time for them to give themselves time to heal instead of them trying to be so active. She comes out, her 7 to 10 day window of digesting, and then she goes straight into shed. Comes out of shed, mouth 100% completely healed. And I'm going to have to credit Da Vinci boa, because when I did it before, it was a healing process. Like we removed the tooth, we treated it a couple times. We, would go and debride it probably like once every 3 days or something like that. I didn't have to do any of that. The Da Vinci boa has to be what healed her like 100% out of the shed. So I wanted that to be a topic for today, because I wanted to share. I know it's a lot of question about, does Da Vinci boa work? Like I said, I've only used it once for an animal who was off feed. Worked amazingly. But I've only used it once, so I can't say that it works for every snake. It works 100% of the time. What I can tell you is that me and the breeder know that snake wasn't eaten. And I even told the breeder, because he doesn't use Da Vinci boa. I said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and purchase Da Vinci boa, and I'm going to see if it works. Shoot, why not? So I did it, and it worked for that particular ball python. And he's been breeding ever since, and he's just never stopped eating again. I've also thought about giving Da Vinci boa as a once-a-month supplement to all of my reptiles. But if you ever have to give reptile supplements, other than large, like retics don't care. You can put almost anything in their mouth. They just like whatever. But ball pythons, it's stressful. A lot of snakes don't like for you to actually like be putting stuff into their mouth. So that's the only reason why I don't do it. But if you have a group that don't mind, like I have a group that I'm sure they wouldn't mind, because just by their personality, I might just do that 10 and to see like how health and body wise, like if the Da Vinci boa actually helps. It's a Da Vinci boa reptile. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me go to the chat so I can answer some questions real fast just on the Da Vinci boa. I definitely, because I hear Billy talk about it a lot, and Billy has a humongous collection, and I think he said he has like a 75%, 80% approval rate for the Da Vinci boa. It works for him in most cases. I can just tell you that I truly believe that it's good. It's easy to administer, but I never used it on the retics until now. And for me, I think that was like liquid gold, because your retics will still eat if they have a tooth issue. Most of the time, unless you let it get very infected. At that particular point, I'm assuming you would have had to went to a vet. I check my retics mouths all the time. Like I'm always, y'all see when I'm holding them, I'm always in their mouths, always looking. Retics are always also prone to respiratory infections. They don't typically happen, I think, for people. I think it's depending on where you live in the country. Like here in Maryland, and I know like Randy's never had a respiratory infection. A lot of people has never had one. I've never had one. But I think too, it has something to do with how you keep. I think if you keep them on ambient, more people who keep them on ambient seems to have respiratory infections. I can't say that that is fact. I'm just saying it just appears that more people who live in places where they keep them on ambient, it causes the retics or the larger snakes. Hey, Dre, to have
Hey, good morning.
Oh, we DW exotics today.
What are you talking about?
You sure?
Did they not change?
You sure? Wait, did I hit the wrong button? Did I put the wrong?
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, so a lot of people, they hesitate to give their animals supplements because some people don't believe in them. Like I can tell you right now, calcium supplements for all my lizards, hands down, big, small, bigger. Now, Dre, I'm gonna let you go more into this because the UVB. Let me just tell you my take on UVB. I have large lizards. My tegels, I give them both. Do you have to? No. Larry, I give him UVB 12 hours a day, probably though only four days a week. Do he need it? No. Now let me tell you my thought on that, why I say they don't need it. Because I supplement them every feeding with the calcium. That's one reason. But the other thing is that they also get a lot of sunlight, even in the winter. I let them bask in the windowsills and stuff like that to get sunlight. So that's why, and when I say don't need it, it's good to give, for me, this is my take, it's good to give them everything that they could use. But we got to keep in mind that we don't want to waste resources, natural resources too. So if you don't have to give them UV, why give it to them? And I do see people give snakes UVB. And I'm gonna let Dre go with this one. There's no UVB in any of my snake enclosures. But you can go ahead.
Yeah, so when we talked about this the other day, there's a lot of debates on whether you should provide UVB for your snakes or not. And my take on it is this: if you can provide it, do it. However, does that make someone a bad keeper if they don't? No, because it's not a requirement and it does not affect these snakes' quality of life. I see too many times on social media where people, are upset because people don't have UVB in their snake enclosures. Like, well, it's beneficial for them. That may be true, but it's not a requirement for them because we all know 9 times out of 10, most of the snakes that we have in their natural environment, they're not diurnal, meaning they're not going to come out just to bask in the sun because they're too exposed. So, like I said, if you provide it for your animals, great. But if you don't provide it for your snakes, if you don't provide it for your snakes, that does not make you a bad keeper, and it doesn't make you any. It's not a requirement to the point where your snakes aren't gonna thrive. We all know the main things that your snakes are gonna need is water, space, heat, and humidity. Those are like the 4 things that you have to make sure you have for your snakes.
And food. But
yes.
I will say that the one thing that you can't skimp on is, especially with the lizards, you have to give them calcium supplements. Especially if you don't feed yours whole prey. Now, I feed my Asian water monitor Asian food. So he's getting more of the natural resources that he would get. However, he's not getting, if he was in the wild selectively, he would know what he needs. Like we know what we need. When we need iron, we take a B12 shot, or we go get a vitamin. I think that if he was in the wild, he is more capable of finding the level of calcium he needs. I don't know what that is. I just sprinkle the damn food. I could be giving him too much or not enough. I know that he's still alive and he's thriving. So all of that is an experiment when we start to give supplements to animals, period. But always pay attention, in my opinion, to how your animals react that are on supplements. Like watching that golden child cow going forward. If she does that ever again, I won't do anything but give her the Da Vinci boa. I won't. Now, it might not cure the pulling of the tooth. I don't know. I would try it and see, because a lot of times they can kind of like do it themselves. Like they can, the tooth can fall out and it kind of heals themselves, but it definitely helped her heal. And fast. Like I said, putting one full vial in each guinea pig that I gave her. She ate the 2 guinea pigs, digested, shed it. By the time she came out of that, she was brand new. So for anybody who, you know, have a snake that's injured, try it. If you got the Da Vinci boa bottle I have is a small one, y'all. It's not the great big one. And I've had it for over a year and a half now, and it's still full. I think I paid $85 for it, maybe. So yeah, I would just say try it. If you have an animal who has a respiratory infection, hey, try it. We don't know. I mean, the worst case scenario, you can give it to them and it works perfectly like it did in that scenario. All right, guys, 8:18. I do want to quickly do the prayer for Brian. This show will be kind of like a faster one because, like I said, we got to get on the road today. So I definitely want to get that on the record. So if we can just take a moment. Father God, thank you for another Monday. Thank you for all the people who are alive and well in the chat to check in with us today. Lord, we thank you for our health, the blessings of our health. And God, we ask that you protect the health of those in our households, those outside of our households, our elderly, our mothers, our fathers, our sisters and brothers. God, we ask that you place your hedge of protection another day around Brian. I believe tomorrow's Tuesday, so there's another treatment day for him, God. And we ask that you keep him feeling healthy. We know he's had some challenges in the last couple of weeks, but God, he's still pushing through. So as long as you can give him enough energy to push through, there's enough energy to stay alive. We thank you, God. We ask that you continue to bless his wife, keep her strength, and his children and his employees, Lord, who has to operate his facility in his absence when he is not there and he is down. We ask that you do this and all things. In his name we pray. Amen. Thank you, guys. Chat. So, Dre, is there any snake that you would recommend UVB for?
I would, me personally, maybe arboreal species, since they're out all day. They are going to want to be close to that heat source. So I would, my green tree and my emerald tree, I do plan on providing some UVB. Nothing crazy. I'm not going like top of the line. I'm not doing anything, super high end on the UVB spectrum, but I mean, that's about it. But that's just me personally. Again, it's not a requirement. It's not something that you have to do, and it doesn't make you a bad keeper for not providing it. No matter what you see online, there's a lot of people online that will argue, you don't have UVB. Okay. I don't have to. So, that's just one thing to keep in mind. And then as far as like the other supplements with the lizards, kind of going back to what you said, there are some people that, I know there's some people that have lizards that supplement every single time they feed. And there is a such thing as over supplementing. So you have to be careful with that too. There's a such thing as too much calcium. So got to be careful with that as well.
Yep. And that's something too that you monitor when your animals are urinating. So if you see with your snakes that they're producing a lot of calcium but not a lot of liquefied urine, that's a sign. If you see that they are, especially with lizards, they become less mobile or look like they're struggling to move, that's a sign of too much calcium or a sign of a calcium deficiency if they kind of dragging themselves along. So it's different things that you can look at. I totally agree with that, Dre. It's one of the reasons why, like I said, as much as I think at the times that I've used the Da Vinci boa, I think it might be a good idea to use it as a monthly supplement for every animal. But, if it's not broke, don't fix it type of thing. So right now I just use it when something occurs and I think it actually would help. But I do think that it acts as some type of supplement for them in the healing process too. I mean, it's quite a few different vitamin qualities in that Da Vinci boa. But, Reptate is for their immune system. Stan was saying. One of my girls has a swollen lower jaw. I'm soaking her in betadine and water solution and put a diluted water peroxide mix and dab it on the areas. Any other suggestions? First, do you know why her jaw is swollen? Because depending on why her jaw is swollen, that could be like how you treat it is going to be different. Is it just swollen because she hit it up against something? Is it infected? If it's infected, then yes, I agree with some of the things that you actually are doing now. What I try to do though is get into their mouths, like get into the jaw to see where the swelling is and treat that point internally. And the way that I do it is like most of my animals are so used to me in their mouth, but let's say if you got one that could be defensive, you take it like an ice cream stick and you get right below the jaw and pull the jaw back, take the ice cream stick and put it in there to kind of keep the mouth open where you can actually see straight through their mouths. Then get to that area. And if you got that peroxide solution diluted just a little bit, put a Q-tip on it and literally get down in there and debride the area that is causing the swelling. But find out where is it swollen, because sometimes it may not have nothing to do with an infection or any sore or anything in the mouth. They sometimes can hold water. Like I've seen my boas do it. Sometimes your boa can drink and hold the water, and then all of a sudden you see them release the water. Or sometimes it could be something worse, and you definitely want to get them to a vet for that.
Yeah, that's a good call out. I actually dealt with this with Luther about 4 months ago, where his top lip. So I went to feed him, and he bit the tongs. And he had a cut in his mouth. So I actually had to treat him. So I did I took some diluted peroxide, and I did exactly what you just said. I keep like the big fat popsicle sticks on hand specifically for that reason. And I had to open his mouth. Well, this was a real fun learning experience because my niece is 11. So I had to open her mouth, and I let my niece use gloves and take one of the long Q-tips, and I showed her exactly like how to softly dab it. Mm-hmm. And I did that 3 times a week, and then I soaked them in some betadine solution. And within probably maybe 3, I want to say 2 months maybe, it was perfectly fine. So I think as long as you, just like with us, as long as you are disinfecting it and you don't let it get infected, you usually don't have a problem. He was very pissed off at the process, of course, but he was also going into
they're not going to like it.
Exactly.
It's like, do you like anybody? I hate the dentist. Look, you can cut me open for surgery before you start digging in my mouth. That's how much I hate the dentist. So they're not going to like it, like Dre said. But this is time, guys, as reptile keepers, whether they like it or not. Like, I remember the first time, I remember telling you, Dre, when I had to go and do that before with the cow. Like, it wasn't something I wanted to do. I didn't know how this was going to go. But I'm like, as her keeper, and the vet is telling me it's not much, a vet can do. I'm telling you, for this purpose, I need you to do this. I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you this, and do this. And me looking at Michael and saying, hey, Michael, we got to do it. And Michael is saying, okay, we're going to do it. And then doing it and realizing, I do believe your animal knows when you're helping them too. Even though it might be uncomfortable, I think they know when you're helping them, because the golden child cow is one of the more feistier ones. Like if she wants to react, she can. And she let us go right in her mouth. She let us debride it. Now, do she like it? No. We laugh every time because she'll go back into her enclosure and put her head in a water and push bubbles just because she hates.
It's an unnatural. It's an unnatural movement, so they're not going to be inclined to be sitting there with their jaw what are you doing? So,
and you dig it in their mouth like nothing.
Like a toddler, open your mouth. Yeah, so
we have
it's
to do it.
It's definitely not a fun process, but it's for for their own betterment. So it was, and just imagine Luther is he's 6 foot, 6.5 foot.
Oh wow.
Which means
he's strong.
He's pretty strong, and he's a boa. So I'm holding him. So if he has to wrap around anything, he's wrapping around me and not my niece. So all she had to do was go, and I knew the right amount of pressure to hold it open, and I showed her exactly where it was, and it was inflamed slightly, so she knew exactly where it was. So we did that a couple times a week, and I was grateful for her because I had to do it one day by myself, and this dude had my arm, and I'm just like, "Fuck, Luther, come on now, like, come on." So I finally got it, like after fighting with him for like 30 minutes, because I think he finally got tired. I was like, but it definitely helped, and it's a big difference because Luther, since I got him, he has never turned down a meal, and I knew something was up because this one time he turned down his food, and I was like, look here, bro. We don't race jumbo
Right.
rats around here. So,
Right.
so like, I treated him for like the 2 months. After that 2 months, I fed him again, and he was right back to it. I haven't had any problems since. So,
I put the question up from Bosa.
oh,
Bosa, it's not dropping. We getting all DW exotic shirts with a little snake guard at the bottom on the back right there. This way.
Nah, I spoke on this on the live yesterday. I'm actually working on that. Stuff is expensive, man.
It is.
So with the demand that I have, my aunt was making, like, she made these, and I was just getting a couple at a time, but her machine went down, and she's like, I can't do it, nephew. So I was like, all right. So I went to look at a couple of sites, and for like one shirt, they want like $60. I'm just like, for a t-shirt?
Yeah.
Like a hoodie, I could understand, but for a t-shirt?
Well, the t-shirts that I got originally were $35, and if you look now, they're like $42.
Yes, it's nuts. So, and then like since it's a custom logo, they want to charge more. So I'm just like, come on now.
Ken said, I stick with the Betadine soaks and maybe use some Neosporin without pain relief if there's any open wound. I wouldn't suggest putting Neosporin inside her mouth. Stick to like the mouth wash rinse with like this one. Actually, this is a good one right here. Now, this one pretty much already comes where you could literally just put it in the snake's mouth. But I noticed with my retic, she don't like all that. She wants you to dilute that. So I dilute it for her. But this is a perfect one for snake mouth injuries. But if it's something on the outside, Neosporin, absolutely, but not for the inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ken, you're gonna have to probably like you're gonna, even if she don't like it, and even if they get defensive, that's the times to bond with your animals to let them know that, hey, I gotta do it. This is life with us. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the only person, because another thing that people don't realize, and I don't know, if you don't have a good relationship with your vet, most exotic vets, what they do is the same thing you can do at home. I happen to have, my vet is a young millennial black man, right? So he does everything in my best interest. Now, he would say, hey, bring him in if he thinks you need to bring him in. But if you go on a video call with him and it's something that simple he's going to do, that, okay, Nicole, do you got this in the house? Do you have this in the house? He's going to walk you through it. Opposed to you coming in there and paying $125, $75, $175 for a visit for something that you could have done right at your home. So that's another thing where people don't realize. Like, people talk about it all the time with Kevin. First of all, Kevin is smarter than most vets, even though he's not a veterinarian. You will hear vets say that. Vets call him to treat animals. But when you keep animals for so long and you do these things, you become the specialist. And this is something my vets say all the time. Nicole, I don't have 8 reticulated pythons. You know, he keep it funky. What is it doing? What does it normally do? I have to walk a vet through all of that, because they don't, just because they're the vet, they know how to treat it. They don't keep these animals. So you have to walk them through that to get to the solution. But if it's something where he's like, you might want to bring them in, and, you know, then he's going to tell me that. But I love the fact that he's going to avoid me coming in paying extra money for something that most of the time we have the solutions at home. We're just afraid to do it, or not even afraid. You feel so horrible when you know your animal is uncomfortable, even when you're trying to help them. So, but part of loving these animals, that's what we have to do. Sometimes we just got to be their doctors when we can. Ken said, I called the local exotic vet. He told me 200 to get in. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like they're going to be honest. Well, they should be honest with you. Most vets will be when it comes to our exotic animals. And from experience and listen to other people, typically when you're taking your animal into a vet, they can't keep it alive anyway. If you notice that, they'll say, it's probably this. And if I put them down and give them surgery, they might not make it. So I could suggest that you do X, Y, and Z to see if you can prolong the animal's life.
It almost sounds like, looking at, some of the updated comments, it almost sounds like the jaw is just kind of crooked, and
I've seen that too.
The snake just hasn't corrected it yet.
It'll fix itself. Yep. Boas are famous for that. Like they can hit the glass and
man, who you telling? Who are you telling?
Like a stroke.
I fed my retic yesterday, and although even though I don't feed live, I still I don't leave the room until all of my snakes have swallowed their food. So
well, that's because you also feed bigger prey too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not no wing rats going in there.
No, right. So I went and checked on it. I went and checked on the cow. So I opened her, and then she just sitting there like, I was like, what the fuck? Looking like Bubba from Forrest Gump. And I'm like, well, what's going on? So I was just sitting there. I was like, go ahead, let me wait for that, that last minute, that after meal yawn, or whatever. So she finally did it, and she was fine. I was like, okay, cool, because you are too pretty of a snake to be walking around with a cleft-looking lip. So,
and sometimes toucan feed it another feeding, and it'll adjust its jaw. I mean, if it can, I don't know what kind of animal it is. Like it could take another feeding. Sometimes it'll adjust its jaw from the second feeding.
Yeah.
I mean, or you could just wait because it's not hurting them. I mean, well, I don't know if it's hurting them, but it's not killing them. Let's say that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say if there's no wound or any open cut, that doesn't sound too life threatening. It sounds like she may have bumped her jaw or tried to eat something or struck at something and hit her mouth, and just hasn't like readjusted.
He said yes. Her left side, her lips look like
the part when he was on the bug. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds okay.
That's right. That's how you diagnose it. Does the left side of the lip look like?
So yeah, me personally, I don't think you need a vet for that. So save your money. That's gonna sound more so like something where you may have to put the snake in a position to where she can correct her jaw. So maybe try feeding her earlier than you need to, as long as she'll take the rat, and see if she'll readjust, because the snake's got to kind of widen the jaws to eat the rat. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully an easy fix, save your money, and you can stop worrying about the snake. So I hope so.
And that's something to think about, guys. When you if you notice your exotic vet tells you to come in for everything, that's not normal for exotic. Let's say this. It is normal if they want the money, but most exotic vets will try to determine what's going on by phone and tell you can fix this, or the snake is resilient, it will fix itself. It's bothering you. The snake, this happens normal for him. But if they tell you to come in for everything, it's not find another vet, because most of it is. And if you've done it, most of the time you're in and out of exotic vet. It's not much they can do for your animal unless they're putting their animal to sleep for something. If there's some type of tumor or something like that, we definitely can't do at home.
Man, listen, my vet will tell me not to come in. I remember I was trying to take the caiman in there. That's like, no, you're good.
Save your money, Nicole.
She was like, a caiman? Yeah, you could treat that. And it wasn't even nothing wrong with him. I was just trying to get something checked out because it was something I had never seen before. But basically, with age, a lot of the dwarf caimans, they'll get brown spots in their mouth. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like any type of bacterial infection or anything. Make sure I was keeping the water clean. She was like, no, yeah, you're fine. You can stay home. But I talked to like a couple other caiman breeders, or not breeders, but like keepers. And I was like, no, that's perfectly normal. So then I seen like all the pictures. It's literally spots they get in their mouth with age, just from being in the water. So it's like algae spots. Yeah, I saw that.
He always yawning. Always.
Man, look,
have to go to bed on a Sunday night. It's not even football season, so that can't even be the excuse anymore.
Listen. Daddy duty or not, I am on the go constantly. I didn't get home till 3 this morning. So,
I'll just look at the pics. Definitely think it's straightened out with the next feed. Then. So Darlene got you. Ken. Ken, are you going to be at the cookout on May 6th? All right. So, all right, guys. So that's pretty much. If you have any questions about Da Vinci Boa, let me know. You can hit me up. Dre, I do want you to talk about what facility did you go to this week?
Oh my God! Okay.
Excuse me, because I find out things when y'all find out. I didn't know he was going anywhere, and I'm just like, let me just see. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever.
The only invite I ever got was to Uncle Mike's. That's because Uncle Mike ain't letting you come without me. Probably he asked about me, but no, go ahead, tell us about that. It did look. From what I saw, it looked amazing.
Nicole, if you were more into boas, you would have loved this place. But basically, his name is John Chosmer. He actually runs the Cincinnati Reptile Expo, and he's a pretty well known boa breeder. And he's at Tinley too. He's literally the guy right across.
Familiar.
He's literally the guy right across from Mike with the big purple logo. So Chosmer. So that was him. So I met him and Ellen, which is his wife, at Schaumburg a couple years ago, right out of COVID when they first brought when they were trying to bring Tinley back. And he invited me out at Schaumburg, and I was just start traveling, so I had never been out there. So we talked at Tinley, and I told him I would reach out to him after Tinley, and they have their own, it's 10, 15 acres of land, and he has 2 facilities right next to each other. So one is for his ball pythons, and even that's a nice room. But he literally had his boa facility built from scratch recently. And so you walk in, and in the front is his office. He's got heated floors, everything, like the whole night, like stuff that I wouldn't even think about. But heated floors, that way he can if he needs to raise his humidity, he can literally take a water hose and spray the floor down, and it raises the humidity in the entire room. But he's got boas that I've never seen before. He's got boas that nobody knows existed because he's the only one working with them. So he's definitely got a lot of world's first. And he's just now, this year, trying to get some of those out to the community. So, of course, there was a YouTube video. He had well over 800 snakes, so we had to split the video up into 2 parts because he had a lot of stuff. But just to see the level that someone was doing this at their home, but in a whole it looked like I went to a facility, not at someone's home, but it's literally
it's a lot of nice facilities. If Babe give up the basement, man, I'm tired. This thing would be just woohoo. I'm telling you, it was beautiful. It was. You
don't have to like boas to enjoy this facility, and it definitely going to see other people's facilities definitely kind of inspires me. Like, damn, okay, cool. But I mean, he has some massive boas, but the way he keeps them, everything is just it was dope. You'll see. I can share some footage with you hearing it. Well, whenever you get to where you're going.
The reason why I asked is that I want a clip for the intro for this podcast. So once you do the video, I know you haven't done the video. I mean, I guess you'll release it Wednesday around 11 or 2. I don't know. So.
Oh no, that's gonna be another week or two. There's a lot of footage to go through.
Well, just give us a clip so I can insert it into our intro.
I got you. Matter of fact, let me.
I mean, because I'm still waiting for pictures. I should have just stole them all myself off of Instagram.
Don't start, Nicole.
Working with Dre, y'all, is not as easy as it appears.
Listen,
he shows up on y'all Instagram lives more fluently than he does cooperate with me, his partner. I'm just saying.
Nicole don't even watch my lives, and when she do, she get on there talking trash.
Kick me off.
She get on there talking trash.
Right, bitch, get off. This ain't even about reptiles.
Now y'all know if I would have called Nicole out her name, she'd have sent somebody for me. Number 1. So let's get that together.
I was like, I'll leave then. Bye.
Whatever.
I tried to watch one and you kicked me off. You and whoever the guy was. I was like his name.
She was like, get to the point. I was like, wait a minute.
I did. So let me just give y'all y'all a disclaimer, right? A lot of y'all in the chat as well. I watch more lives than y'all think. It's just that sometimes I don't want to say anything because I don't like to say hi. I am just so sometimes I'm in the chat. I just don't want to say hi because I feel like when somebody say hi to me, I'm obligated to say hi back. And hi everyone doesn't work for that scenario. So I try sometimes to just come in and just chill in the chat.
They got the wave feature.
I'm driving.
You know what I'm saying? I got the wave feature.
Yeah, but then the person don't know who I'm waving to. I still have to say so-and-so or...
No. They got the wave feature where you can individually wave at people.
Well, see, that's on... I don't like that either. Because, so when it... so on Instagram...
I can't.
Instagram. Wait a minute. I don't even know if I'm waving back if y'all wave at me. Because by the time I hit the button, it looks like it fades away. I do like that about Instagram. But people will still go in and say, hey, Nicole, I wave back.
Join my live again. I'll be like, hey, Nicole. Everybody say hey to Nicole. I'm going to have her stressed out. She's like, damn it,
Drake. When I'm up and I got the energy, like, you know, like if I'm in the live, you know what I mean? Then I love that. Shout out to everybody. Both, I don't know how you keep up with all of it. I'm just keeping it real. I don't know. Both can do that 100,000 times. So I do it for most lives, but I can't do it for all y'all. I'm almost 50. Y'all lucky I'm even on social media.
That ain't no excuse. You ain't no decrepit old being. You got this.
I don't like half of this stuff.
You don't even look 50.
Half of this stuff if it wasn't for this fool.
I'm gonna keep it honest with you. We're gonna have to cut this short because
yeah, I told you.
My stomach is a churning and it's not looking good. I'm trying to be cool, but I'm like, oh.
I can't with him, y'all. All right, y'all. We're gonna look. We was gonna keep it short anyway, but we damn sure going to do that.
Because I don't want people hearing me fart on camera and it's getting bad.
The ignorance. You gotta love them though, right? You gotta love them. I can't with you.
It's getting bad. I'm like, oh my God.
For all of y'all who think he fly and all that other stuff, you see how nasty he is?
We all human. What goes in must come out. And I don't care what form it's coming out in, it's coming out.
Biological function will go in must come out. I don't even know how. Wave back on. So you hit the door when they wave at you. I know you hit it back, Ken, but I don't know like if the person gets it because they still say hi in the chat. So KT, that's your boy. You know he ignorant, borderline ignorance all day.
I am not.
Everyone have a blessed day. I'm hanging up on Dre, y'all.
Have a good week.
Have a great week. See you guys Wednesday for balls and things. And then we'll see you again Thursday for herp collectors. Friday, hair down. Friday is at 8 o'clock on Friday. And of course, Saturday, reptiles and cocktails again. Dre on Instagram, whenever he randomly shows up, I can't give y'all the schedule because he don't give it to me, so I can't shout him out.
Sporadic. I just go live
sporadically. On Instagram.
I go live sporadically. I do have a couple.
Randomly throughout the week, y'all can go check them out. I can tell you that I tried hard to get with the one with, because I love Lindsay from Pico Python. I just love her energy. And Lindsay would not have let y'all kick me out y'all live. So I tried to get to that one, but just saying. Love y'all all. Dre, go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's right, y'all. We got the... Oh, hold on. Another thing. If anybody ever has any topic suggestions for the podcast, message me and Nicole. I know I suck at coming up with topics sometimes, but I know sometimes we both get busy. There's been times we're both like, oh shit, did we come up with a topic? So if y'all have a topic, feel free to reach out to any of us and either of us, and we'll definitely see if we can do a video on it. Because
y'all come up with some of the best topics. Some of the favorite shows we've done was from topics from people from the
there was that one that we did about
it was the
Florida. Florida. That was a good topic. So
it was
just throw that out there.
Look where we at. We talked about that months ago. That was in what, November?
Yeah.
And look where we at now with all this FWC stuff.
Yep.
So
we'll have to do an update on that soon.
Yeah.
As soon as we find out something.
Yep.
So, all right, everybody.
Peace.
This episode is brought to you by Beat It by Sadie's. Mercedes can provide you that flair we like around our waistline. She can provide that in your